Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
All right. So, why do you think abortion should be an amendment?
Um, I just think women should have the right to do what they want to do with their bodies. Why you think it should not be?
Well, abortion is okay. Um, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I don't think that it shouldn't be allowed. I also don't think that there should be an amendment for it. Um, it should be like if each state wants to have abortion, then that state should. It shouldn't be a blanket on the entire United States.
But why don't you think it should be blanket? Like what?
Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I actually don't know where it's coming from. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know where that was coming from. But anyway, because I'm against large government and large government rules, basically. So an amendment is kind of just another way for the government to force things on the states.
Okay, but don't you think it does more good than harm to, make abortion an amendment so that it's there if women need it, whereas opposed to if it's not an amendment and they're kind of stuck in that position.
So what do we have now? Do you know?
I'm Canadian, so
Oh. Um,
yeah, we're much more liberal and accepting here.
I think that's a different conversation. Anyway, we have in the United States, we have an act saying that abortion, Roe versus Wade, saying that you are allowed to have an abortion. It's not an amendment though, so it kind of already is blanket, but it's not an amendment. An amendment is
Right.
a change to our Constitution, but an act is just like a law, basically.
Right.
So I don't agree that it should be in the Constitution. A law, that's fine. It shouldn't be in the Constitution.
Why is it a problem if it's in the Constitution as opposed to if it's just a law? Like, I don't really understand. You have a problem with it being blanket, like over
Yeah.
the whole?
I don't think a lot of things should be blanket over. Because if something works in like Oregon or something, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in Alabama or Mississippi, right?
But why do you think that?
Why do I think what?
I don't understand why abortion would only work in some places and not others.
Different parts of the United States are more accepting or tolerant than other ones.
Well, that's because these laws are not amendment in the first place, maybe.
Okay, that doesn't have
Just
anything to
because
do.
of
People still have abortions though. So just because it's not an amendment doesn't mean no one's having an abortion.
I know, but if we did make it part of the amendment, it would be widespread and it would be more accepted, especially in those states you mentioned where it's not accepted now.
Just because it's not accepted, or just because it's like we have a law, doesn't mean
It's frowned upon, let's say.
So there's a lot of things. I don't think the government should implement more regulation on the states. I think the state should do what the state wants.
See, okay. I just think that it doesn't really make sense to do that, but because that just creates, more of that oppressive culture in that state. And if we made this the norm for every U.S. state, it would be widespread, and then that way, it would be like. I just want to know what you were saying before.
There are abortions in every state.
About why you don't agree with abortion, anyways, in the first place.
I mean, I think there are other alternatives.
So what are the other alternatives? Could you list them for me? Just to get an idea.
I mean, there are birth control. You can adopt. you can do numerous other things.
But what about in situations such as rape?
That's fine. I didn't say I didn't agree with abortion.
Yeah, you did say you do, you said it. You opened this argument by saying you don't agree with abortion, and I just wanted to know.
Doesn't mean that we shouldn't not have it. I think we should have abortion. Abortion should be legal. Doesn't mean I agree with it.
But I think it should be widespread. I think it should be made an amendment, and it should be widespread, because why would we make
abortions are in every state? It's already widespread.
Exactly. And if we make it an amendment, like you said,
what would it do?
It would just make more sense, because.
But what would make more sense about it, though? What would change?
It would be the same in every state. And that, yeah.
What would be the same?
Well, I mean, right now there's laws, and it's kind of iffy. It's kind of fluffy. If we made it an amendment, it would be set in stone. It would be more, it wouldn't be as frowned upon.
Just because it's in the Constitution doesn't mean it's not frowned
So
upon.
why don't you want it as an amendment? I just don't understand.
So I said that 3 other times. In North Dakota, you cannot have an abortion that is past 6 weeks, right? But in other states, you can have abortion well up to 24 weeks. So as an amendment, as you're in favor of, what should the limit be? 24 weeks or 6 weeks?
I think that's for the woman to decide. And I think the amendment should just, make abortion allowed in every state for whenever that person wants.
So at like 8 months, a woman, if she wanted an abortion, she should be able to have one.
She should be able to have an abortion whenever she wants an abortion, and whenever it's safe for her to have an abortion.
So
I don't think there should be regulations. And I think that should be widespread.
Oh. Okay. So let's say a baby's supposed to be due tomorrow, and the woman decides to have an abortion today. That's okay.
If it was safe, if the health professionals say it's safe, then of course. But if not, then she should go forth and have the baby, is what I'm saying.
Interesting. Thankfully, that's not how it works here. There is a limit.
But nobody does that also. I think you have to realize nobody in their right mind would have an abortion the day before the baby's due. They do it, way earlier. And when there's people like you and other people who are saying, no, you can't have an abortion, that makes them think for a longer time, it kind of.
That's not what I said.
Well, it's
that abortion should be legal. So please don't put words in my mouth. Second, most, if not, let's say 90% of abortions happen in the first trimester, right? Is that okay? You look scared.
No, I'm listening. Keep going. I just want to listen to what you have to say about this.
A very small amount happen in the second trimester, and very few happen, like very, very few happen in the third trimester. But with our laws, it makes it illegal to happen after the second trimester.
I don't know. If it happens in the third trimester, it's usually for health reasons.
You're right. Which is why it's very, very few.
Okay. And then at the beginning, then that's just the woman's choice, in the first trimester. The second trimester. You know what I mean? Like, if they just decide not to have it, that should be fine. And therefore, it should be an amendment. And we shouldn't do as much as we're doing to regulate this type of thing,
Right. I'm still for abortion. I think it should be legal.
Okay.
It should be there if we need it. Doesn't mean it needs to be an amendment for the reasons I've stated earlier.
I just don't see why not.
More government intervention. I don't see why the government has to be in everybody's business.
I just think the government should be there to support women.
The government is there to support women. That's why there's a law on it, sweetheart.
But okay, I have a problem with you calling me sweetheart, first of all.
Sorry, did I trigger you?
It's a little condescending.
I know, that's why I said it, silly.
Okay. Wow. Jeez, I wish this
Anyway,
was a roast, but it's not. Anyways,
okay.
you know what? Unfortunately, people agree with you for some reason or other. You know, we have a long way to
I
go in
know we
terms
shouldn't
of
have
women's
abortions.
rights.
I agree. Abortion
Turns
should be illegal. I agree. Because you said
abortions
people
should be legal and
agree with me.
abortion should be an amendment because
Okay, I don't think you know what an amendment is.
oh
Do you know what an amendment is?
oh sweetheart, let me tell you. I know what an amendment is. Maybe
Even in Canada?
Canadian, but
So
I
how much do you know about the United States justice system? I mean, being from Canada.
can you not insult my culture
No,
because I'm
I'm
Canadian
sincere
and insult my general knowledge as a Canadian?
of
Because that's
United
not where we're
States
going here.
judicial system.
That's not where we're going here. The whole debate was about whether or not abortion should be an amendment, and you're questioning
Right.
whether or not I know what an amendment is.
Also, your knowledge on the United States judicial system, which you never really
then-
asked.
But then you didn't give me the answer for a lot of the questions I asked you.
Like what?
Well, you were kind of going around the questions and you were contradicting
Ask them
yourself
now.
at the beginning. So, you know,
Yeah.
you didn't really give me the answer as to why like, you know, why you think it shouldn't be an amendment. And you were saying like,
But
you
I'll
know,
say
you're
it
giving
again.
me examples of certain states and whatever, but you
Okay.
never really told me like why it shouldn't be an amendment.
The government should not override.
But like, yeah, okay, that's literally what the question is. But why do you think that?
was because I think the federal government should set a basic law and the states can enforce them or make them looser. I don't think the government should tell somebody in Wyoming what to do in Washington. If Wyoming wants to tell people in Wyoming what to do, that's fine.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I think the government should be there to just set one law in stone, to set one amendment in stone, and the laws should all, you know, be towards that amendment. I don't think that all the laws should be, you know, different according to whatever state it is. I don't think that makes sense.
All laws aren't different. Roe v. Wade, which was an amendment that made abortion legal, right? Kind of set that there was a term limit that after you can't have an abortion before, that's fine. But each state can have regulations on that law set by the Supreme Court, right? So like Texas, there was a law saying that abortion clinics have to be very similar to hospitals. And that went to the Supreme Court and it was overturned saying that that was unconstitutional. That's fine. If Texas wants to do that, that's fine. But it shouldn't be an amendment, though.
But that's exactly why it should be an amendment. So that states don't go around doing their own thing. You know what I mean? And that way
why can one state not do its own thing? It's its own thing. It's its own state.
Because the whole point here is that we want to give women access to abortions and make it easy for them and make it available for them. And when a state goes and makes their own law, that kind of makes that more difficult. It's a problem. And that's why we need one kind of general amendment for every single state in the US that makes sure that women are protected and women get abortions, you know, safely, easily, and quickly, you know, as soon as they need to. I don't think it's right to say that, you know, no, states can create their own laws because that's where things get messy. That's where things get fluffy. And that, you know, kind of makes things more difficult, you know, for the women, for their families, for their situation. And I don't think that's right. I think there should be an amendment, you know, regarding abortion so that it's just safer, easier, healthier for the women. I think we should think about that. Then just leave it up to the state itself.
I agree, but each state, Texas' reasoning for why an abortion clinic had to be very similar. Like
they don't need their own reasoning. We just need one amendment. That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, it gets fluffy.
Okay, so their reasoning was that it has to be safe. It was for women's safety, which is why the hospital The abortion
Okay, but
clinics
every
always had to be
state,
so big.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but every state might have their own idea of what safety is, of what,
Yeah,
and that's not really fair. That's not really fair. If we have one
I agree.
amendment, it's, I think it's better that way.
Right. So maybe the law that was set by the Supreme Court needs to be expanded. But when it comes to an amendment, it's not really set in stone. Like with the Second Amendment, it says that basically you can have guns, but each state can have its own interpretation
Laws, okay.
of guns. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So if we had another amendment that said women have the right to an abortion, would still be laws like that, like there are gun laws.
So then what's your point?
Why have an amendment if the same thing is going to happen?
But then why didn't you say that at the beginning?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so you think, so basically we can come to the conclusion that there should be an amendment regarding abortion, but unfortunately the states aren't going to follow it anyways.
I used your logic. You said that if the abortion was an amendment, it would be one set concrete thing that all the states had to follow. I give you an example of how the Second Amendment says that people are allowed to have guns, but each state has their own laws regulating.
Okay, yeah, no, I totally understood that. Okay.
Okay, so there shouldn't be an amendment. For the same reason you can argue why the Second Amendment shouldn't be around.
But there might as well be an amendment.
For what?
For abortion.
To do what?
To say that women should be able to have access to healthy, safe abortions. That's all I'm saying, is that should be an amendment.
But what's the difference between Roe v. Wade and then an amendment, though?
Between what?
Roe v. Wade and an amendment.
I don't even know what you just... I can't... A what?
What's the difference between Roe v. Wade and an amendment?
Well, I just, right now we're arguing an amendment, and I think that's what I said, that abortion should be an amendment, and
right, but
it makes things...
Roe v. Wade in comparison to an amendment?
What will be Wade?
Roe v. Wade.
Oh. Okay, well, I don't know what that means, but...
It's not a lot.
Roe v. Wade.
Roe.
Okay.
R-O-E.
Okay. I don't know what that means. Sorry. I'm just saying, going back to my main point of what I just said, and I said it multiple times throughout this debate.
Right.
I'm not seeing where you're coming from, but that's fine. I just think that if we do have an amendment regarding abortion, it at least, it raises awareness. It makes things less fluffy.
It raises awareness.
It does raise awareness. Absolutely.
Okay.
No, if we said, okay, this is now an amendment, but
it doesn't really raise awareness.
I think it makes people more alert about the issue. I think it makes people more...
Not really.
I think it makes people more alert about the issue. What?
How?
Okay. Arla. Yeah, hold on. Wait, what were you saying? Can I switch this over to my friend over here?
I suppose.
Okay, she's just going to say something.
Hi, I just have one point. Okay, so in Canada, I'm not sure if you're aware of what our laws are, but we don't have any. Like, we have laws. We don't have laws around abortion. It was just deemed to be on the same par as any other, medical procedure, and there's no other restrictions. Like, it's like, you have to do it safely, doctors have to be certified to do it, whatever, right? But other than that, there's no, restrictions. So, the thing is, here in Canada, for the most part, people just don't give a fuck. They're like, you want, okay, like, you know, like if you don't want to have an abortion, you don't have one. Like, no one's saying, oh, this law, like, abortion's like legal in your state, you have to have an abortion. Nobody's fucking saying that. That's not a thing, right? Like, it's people just kind of mind their own fucking business when it becomes commonplace and whatever. People just mind their own business. I mean, obviously, there's other people that don't, but like, it's not a big deal here anymore. Like, it's not. It's like I look at the American situation on this, and it's like, how are you still here with this issue? Like,
Yeah.
we're so past that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
did you understand what she said, or do you want me to explain it to you?
I mean, she said it kind of quickly.
But it was very clear.
Thank you. I'm glad you can tell Americans how their law should be and what I can and cannot understand.
I just think that if America kind of looked at the way Canada does things, they could learn a lot, for one.
Right.
Especially in regards to laws around abortion, you know.
Right. And what else is Canada doing successfully?
Compared to the United States, a lot. It's kind of going
Can I have an
off
example?
topic. I mean, you know, free health care for
We don't have
one.
Donald Trump as our incoming president.
Yeah, we don't have Donald Trump. We didn't have to choose between two
Y'all
evils
have Trudeau.
as president.
Not necessarily a shining star.
You know, Trudeau's at least a lesser evil than Hillary Clinton and Trump, but that's another
I
debate.
agree.
That's
But,
another
you know,
debate.
didn't Trudeau say that Canadians don't really have an identity?
That's another debate.
I'm not even sure if he did say that, but even if he did, who gives a fuck?
Okay.
And
How is that relevant to anything?
that's another debate. I mean, our
I think it's an
identity
identity.
was,
We're nice people. That's our identity, is that we're nice.
yeah, we're nice and accepting.
And that's our identity.
I mean, at the same time,
America's accepting too.
Okay, I went to America when I was 7 years old, and I wore a hat that had said Canada on it, and I got dirty looks from adults. It's a nice place, though. People who are from America come here and are shocked because people smile at each other in public. They're shocked by that. But no, you guys are nice. Like, that's okay. That's good.
So you wore a hat saying Canada on it,
A hat. What?
and Americans glared at you because you were in America wearing a Canadian
Yeah.
hat.
That ass.
And
Yeah.
that, when you were 7,
Yes.
and that affected you so deeply that you still bring it up.
Yes.
Maybe you should just stay home.
it's a small example, just an example.
Good example.
But I don't know. I think in a lot of ways Americans can learn from Canadians, you know, in terms of laws, in terms of, you know, universal health care for one, you know. We're not so much, but that's another debate.
So
And
that was like 2 things.
well, there's multiple things, but I'd have to go into a whole new video for that. What I'm saying is, regarding abortion, we give women, you know, the rights, and we give them the rights to make decisions. We give them easy access. That's all I'm saying. We make it healthy, accessible, safe, you know. And I think that Americans can learn from that. By making abortion an amendment, you know, that really alerts people about it, and it really makes it
It
less
doesn't.
fluffy between state to state.
It doesn't really. It doesn't bring awareness at all.
I think it does if we just, you know, if it becomes commonplace. Like that was the, you know, the point we made before. If it becomes commonplace, then people, you know, are more accepting towards it. But clearly, you know, the U.S. right
So
now
if there's an amendment,
where they're
it's-
too close-minded to make something like abortion an amendment.
The problem with
Like,
US
that's it.
states, the problem with states making laws about abortion.
I don't know why he's smiling, because he,
tolerant.
but that's
So
okay.
if it's an amendment, it's commonplace and more acceptable.
Sorry? If it's
So if it's
commonplace,
an-
it makes it more acceptable?
If it's an amendment.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so gun control, the Second Amendment, that's commonplace, but it's not necessarily acceptable in some places.
In the States, yeah, it's a lot more accepted in the States than it is in other places that don't have guns. But it is acceptable in the States.
But also not acceptable.
Amendment that says it's okay, so a lot of people do it. So that makes it okay in the eyes of
Exactly.
Americans. So if people felt comfortable and, were allowed to get abortions, then people would see it as more acceptable and less of a huge, big fucking
That's
deal.
exactly it.
People have abortions.
That's
here.
all it is.
Abortions are legal here.
Yeah, barely.
That is not exactly true because the
Okay.
laws in
Did
certain
Ohio just
states
pass a law?
are absolutely ridiculous. So,
Like what?
well, I mean, Ohio, for example, just passed a law.
6 weeks.
What is it? 6 weeks?
Saying what?
You fuck up and don't realize that you're pregnant yet. Like, a lot of people don't know even by 6 weeks that they are pregnant.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit, too late for me to get an abortion now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fucked. That's literally not nearly enough
But
time.
that's okay. If that's what you think, that's fine. Unfortunately, a lot of people agree that abortion should not be an amendment. I just think that it again just makes things easier for women, more especially in situations, in really like just bad situations, in terms of rape, in terms of a woman of low socioeconomic status who can't take care of a child. And if we, make abortion an amendment, then it creates more laws that help cater to those people who are, often marginalized. We have a lot of laws that cater to people like yourself, okay, people of privilege. But I think by making this an amendment, it for once caters to, yeah, he's laughing. Of course he's laughing. He's never going to have a baby. He's, he's never going to have a baby. He doesn't understand. That's
Tolerant
fine.
at its finest.
That's fine. Sorry?
Going on
I don't know what- I don't know
Ohio's
what you just
abortion
said.
laws, because you weren't correct on those. Ohio has banned.
Okay. No, only you're correct. Sorry. I forgot.
It really sucks being from America and knowing other American states' laws. But anyway, Ohio has a ban against abortions after a fetus has become viable. This law requires us to perform
Alright, I'm
viability
sorry,
testing.
if you birth
Hold on,
birth
this
a
is just-
6-week-old fetus, it's not viable. So what does that mean? Like,
I don't
what
know.
the fuck?
I don't know. Honestly, you have no. I
You
don't.
didn't let me
I'm not
finish.
sure you're in the right, and you're the right person to be debating this. You're in the right place to be debating this because.
Be quiet, I'm a man.
No, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know. Yeah, you
So,
don't really know.
Because I'm a man, I
No,
shouldn't have a right.
because
I
you don't know
never-
what the fuck you're talking
Okay,
about.
it's interesting that you
So,
said that,
because you're Canadian, you shouldn't have a right to debate American laws.
That
Okay, why
makes
did this-
literally no sense.
but
But okay.
here, no. Well, all I'm saying is, you could look to Canada in terms of our abortion laws. Just saying.
Okay.
And also,
Okay.
I think you need to be kind of like empathetic in this situation and think about who abortion is important for and who these laws are important, like the people who these laws are important to. And you have to think about, the woman who can't afford to take care of a child, or who got raped.
People have abortions all the time, every day.
Exactly.
Just because it's an amendment does not mean we don't
Okay.
have
Okay,
abortions.
so then we
Next
can
question.
agree that, so we can
Why
agree.
not? Why not make an amendment then?
There's a
Exact
difference
fucking
between a
same
law
anyways. Why not make it
and an amendment.
Here, yeah, exactly. Let's ask that question. If it doesn't matter, then let's just make an amendment. I don't get why not. Like, why not?
Because I'm against large government.
You're
Oh, so
against,
you're an
like-
anarchist. Got it.
Okay,
I'm against large government. You hate all government whatsoever.
no, it's not even that. But if you're against, I
That's
think in
literally what you're
situations like this, large government is needed because these independent states are kind of messing things up.
The system's not as controlled at a state level.
Like
Yeah.
Ohio.
It's not as regulated, okay?
Not as regulated.
Yeah.
Especially at the state level, though, religion plays way too much of a part in politics than it should. Worth considering.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's another important
Depending on
point.
the state.
So one, or a couple people in don't put on me again. A couple people in a government for a state that are religious can fuck shit up for the people that are not religious. Because religious people, for the most part, well, not necessarily for the most part, but a big chunk of religious people are against things like abortion and think they should be illegal. So because of their beliefs, it shouldn't be acceptable in an entire state. Like that doesn't, like that's too. There's too much.
Who votes them in?
What?
Who votes those people in?
Okay, yeah, but guess what? When you got all like, okay, when you're in states in the
You
Bible
know what?
Belt, most of your options are hella religious people.
I just think it's, if you think about the difference in socioeconomic status in places like the Deep South and places like, you know, Mississippi, for example, where you would probably, I assume, have high levels of rape, high levels of teen pregnancy, and then we just have these, you know, ridiculous laws imposed by the state that make absolutely no sense because they're not regulated by larger government. And that's kind of the point I was trying to make, like, throughout this, is that if abortion is amendment, then, you know, it's more set in stone, it's more widespread. Like, yeah, maybe, you know, maybe it doesn't mean anything, but look at guns. I mean, you guys always look at the amendment for your right to own guns, so maybe now you could look at the amendment for the right for abortions to be okay. Like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. That was my argument. I don't know why you're looking at me like that, because
You're
I
just
made it clear,
a fantastic
and I made it clear
speaker,
multiple
you know?
times. No, I just want to hear
Oh,
what
I know.
said.
Like, I don't know, you know? Like, I just don't get it. Like, you know?
Don't get what? That's pretty vague.
I don't know what you don't get, though, because I made all of my points clear to you.
So, I live in the South, right?
Okay.
Oh, that explains it. Anyway, teen pregnancy. The state that has the most teen pregnancy is New Mexico at 80 out of 1,000.
Okay.
Second is Mississippi, 76,000.
Okay.
So it's not just the Deep South.
I'm not singling them out. I just use that as an example. I'm not saying it's just I just use that for my example. And I'm saying the laws there, you know, kind of.
New Mexico is a blue state. It's Democrat.
I know. I just used the Deep South as my example. Sure, a Democratic state is up there, but
it's number one.
Yeah, number one. Okay.
Okay, so that's a blue state controlled by liberals that are for abortion. So even though there is abortion, it's probably pretty legal there. Okay. Still high teen pregnancy.
But you do realize that that's followed by Mississippi, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So
and then
there might be one,
Delaware and Hawaii and Alaska and West Virginia.
Sorry?
So.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay.
What kind of governor does Mississippi have? Look at the governor rate.
Well, those are all Republican states.
That what, voted Republican in the presidential election or have...
The Republican states, yeah. Well, for one, they voted Republican, and also they just have a history of being Republican states. As in, yeah, who they voted for, and also they're very conservative, you know? They're very religious, they're very conservative. So...
Right. Mississippi has voted Democrat more than Republican. Along with Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma.
Okay, their urban centers vote Democrat, but the rest of the state does not.
And the urban center, you know, who lives in the urban sweater. In the urban center, you know. I said sweater. The urban center, you know, who lives there is typically, rich, wealthy, educated.
In the South? In a city? Are you serious?
The city.
In major cities, that's where the
in major cities, typically it's younger people, you know. I'm not talking in the intercity, I'm saying as a whole. But anyways, that's a different debate. I'm just saying, back to our main point,
that for these richer people live in the countryside.
Okay, that's debatable, but that's
Okay. So New Mexico, for example, doesn't go
Okay.
with what you said. It's a democratic state. So they have pro-abortion laws, yet the highest rate of teen pregnancy.
Let's recall that it's also not pro-abortion; it's pro-life. You're not, or not pro-life. Sorry, pro-choice.
yeah, it's
It's like
pro-choice.
They're not trying to force people to have abortions. That's not a thing.
It's just pro-choice. I don't think pro-abortion is the right term to use, but
Damn, you got me. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the main point I was saying. Maybe you found an outlier. Okay, congratulations. But
Facts
I don't
suck,
know.
don't
Based
they?
on the United States as a whole, and I think abortion should be an amendment.
That's just where it's gonna have to be. Definitely Google Roe v. Wade. I don't mean that sarcastically. Because that is a pretty important amendment. So
Okay.
I don't mean that sarcastically. Or don't. Fuck it, be ignorant. I don't really care.
Or she knows what it is.
I'm ignorant. Okay.
But she doesn't, to your friend, because I asked her and I said it multiple times. She goes, I don't know what that is. So
No, well, I know what that is.
Whatever.
I do know what that is, and
yeah, like
Do you
what,
want to argue that point?
the one
wanna
thing that could
argue
help
that
my
point,
point, I
Aaron?
just don't know it. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I don't know what the point he was making with either, to be
He's
honest.
just like,
I don't
yeah,
remember.
Roe v. Wade, and New Mexico, and viable fetuses. Let's look at
But whatever. We're on different ends of the spectrum here, but that's fine. Whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter what happens or not because people don't really care about the amendment anyways. So
rest in peace.
yeah. What are you saying?
We still have abortions, amendment or not. So it
Okay,
doesn't
but
matter.
the laws make it difficult.
The reality is, even though there is an amendment that says that yes, abortions should be legal, it doesn't mean that states aren't trying to get around that. States are trying to make it as the point with the Texas one that you brought up about how they wanted it to be super like hospital level. The reason that was made was to make it so that all, or not all, but most abortion clinics had to close.
Yes.
Because they didn't want them there. So they're finding a way to close the clinics that was not proper, and it was like they're trying to find loopholes to get out of this.
So it's
amendment.
Fluffy. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So by basically like fixing this amendment, it's so that there are actual like, hey, you can't fucking do that kind of things in it, would be beneficial because then people can't try to find these loopholes and be dickheads about it.
But in Texas,
Exactly.
that went to the Supreme Court and it was found unconstitutional.
Exactly, because it's fucked up.
Because it's fucked up, and there's a lot of states
Right.
where it's fucked up,
And that's why we need this higher
that's why we
government.
need large
So stop
government in this case. Maybe our large government, what do you call it? Maybe they're corrupt.
Also,
But in this case, if we could get their help for the sake of the women undergoing these abortions, it would be great if that could be part of the amendment and if every state could follow suit. Yeah, what I'm saying is hilarious.
this brings
that's
us
fine.
right back around to the original question, though. You're saying that abortion shouldn't be an amendment and saying that it shouldn't be made one, but you're also pointing out that there already is one. And I'm failing to see how this is
I don't know.
working or where you're
Maybe,
going with this.
I don't know.
There's a law from the Supreme Court and an amendment are different. An amendment is a change to the Constitution.
Did you not refer to Roe v. Wade as an amendment?
Roe v. Wade is not an amendment.
Well, you referred to it as one earlier.
Yeah, you did. That's why I was a little bit confused.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Roe v. Wade is not an amendment.
There you go. They make an amendment that fixes that problem. I'm failing to realize why having it universalized is a problem. Because it's like, by making it open and accessible, it's not forcing anybody to do it. Those who weren't going to do it before aren't going to suddenly do it now. It's just about making it open for choice, right? It's like, okay, you can do this or you cannot do this. And I don't see a problem with that because, like, the way that it's working with the states is that shit's just switching up constantly and there's new things being thrown out all the time. And first of all, it's confusing for people who want to get it because they have to do incredible research to figure out what the hell the laws even are. In states that make it incredibly hard, people have to travel hours to go to other places to get the healthcare that they need so they can get these services. And it's like, it's not fair to do that. It's not fair to like restrict people in that way.
I agree.
You agree? Exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember what you said.
Sorry, I'm just reading the comments. They're
Are
hilarious.
those what we're saying?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But
See people watching us.
you know, that's fine. Maybe we're just maybe we're just bored college roommates in Canada trying to find something to debate. But I don't know, this is an issue we feel strongly about. Like, come on. Should be amendment. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much all we have to say. If that's what you think, that's fine. Like, whatever.
All right, well, that's just our political differences then.
I guess it is. I mean, I tried to explain, but that's fine. I guess you don't really see my side of it. Like, and I guess you have a point where if it's made an amendment, you know, it's still not going to do much. So what's the point in the first place? Which is fine. So.
Right. Thank you for putting words in my mouth.
Well, I'm just kind of summing up what, you know, the conclusion.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Did you have something different to say? Like,
I don't think it's going to matter to you anyway, because you're just going to put other words in my mouth, you know?
okay, well, no, I just want to hear, like, what you have to say about it.
And then you go, well, that's stupid. You should follow Canada, because that's what you've been doing the entire time.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
But that's fine. you know?
apparently. Apparently
Anyways.
that's what we were doing the entire time.
What?
But
What were we doing?
we were just saying, oh, you should follow Canada. But
Should. American laws on abortion should be like.
I
Canadian
think our more socialist perspective on things would be beneficial to the
laws.
United
South and you just
States.
dropped an S-bomb. Better be careful.
I mean, you guys let Bernie Sanders go, but
Yeah.
That's okay.
that was
That is very much not
That's
okay.
fine.
Okay, look
Well,
what we ended up with.
well, no,
now.
no.
Come
Here's
on.
the thing. Donald Trump is definitely less of a threat than Hillary Clinton, but I don't know. In terms of abortion and other issues, you know, such as women's rights issues, etc. Like, I don't know. It's kind of, you guys are in a bad situation, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Trump, he's really not even that bad. He's really not.
I agree he's a lesser evil than Hillary Clinton, but
Bernie was the
it's
shit.
also I don't know. He's
Doesn't work
also
out.
not.
We'll vote him out in
When
4
every
years.
fucking
He's
country
also
in the world
not-
that doesn't have fucked up opinions
So-
saying bad idea. Might
I
start
don't know.
listening to.
I agree that there's a lot of good that can come out of Trump. But at the same time, he's incompetent for the most part,
Trump doesn't even
and
have
it would
fucking
be
opinions.
interesting to see somebody more competent run the U.S. But
Realistically, the states
That's not
didn't
up to
elect
me,
Trump.
so.
They elected Mike Pence for president because he's going to be the one making the decisions. Let's
Yeah,
be
so.
honest.
I agree with that, low key.
So that's even more horrifying because he believes in like fucking electroshock therapy fixing homosexuality. So
Wasn't he in the
goodbye.
KKK
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
or something? Someone was in the KKK. I don't remember. But that's just the situation in the United States right now. It's unfortunate, but
Thank you for telling me.
America.
and it's gonna get
Just
worse.
like-
And
Just try not to-
I had no idea. I didn't live here.
well, I'm just sharing my opinions.
Now that America is a place to live, and it's only going to get worse.
It's not a yeah. Well,
Yeah. Well.
Right. Anyway.
but that's okay. Whatever. I'm glad I got to hear your opinion, and I'm glad I got to share my opinion. And
luck in life.
yeah, no, I just
Hopefully you don't
this
ever
is a
get divorced.
serious issue, and yeah. Hopefully it's dealt with the right way, and we don't see too many restrictions from the pro-lifers. But okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways,
Have fun with life.
glad I got to hear your opinion.
Likewise.
Okay. Is that it?
Is it what you read?
Yeah, I mean, I said what I needed to.